You know when you watch a magician and you're just left wondering, how did they do that? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain, not on magic tricks, but on the powerful AIs that we're all starting to use every day. We're going to learn the secret moves used to fool them, unmasking the attacks on large language models.
So it's a question we've got to ask ourselves. We're trusting these systems with so much, right? But are they really as locked down as we think they are? Let's dive in and find out.
All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the AI's hidden weak spot. Then we'll get into two fundamental threats, the real art of deception, and the attacker's actual toolkit. And finally, we'll tie it all together and talk about why this really concerns all of us.
Look, just like any piece of amazing new tech, large language models have these little hidden weak spots. I mean, they're unbelievably powerful. They can write poetry, they can write code, but they are not foolproof. There are vulnerabilities that clever attackers can, and definitely do, exploit.
So where do these weak spots even come from? Well, it turns out most of these exploits really boil down to two fundamental threats. If you can get your head around these two concepts, all the other attacks we're going to talk about will make a whole lot more sense.
So the first one is called poisoning, and honestly, you can think of it as corrupting the AI from the inside out. This happens before the AI is even released. An attacker intentionally feeds it just bad, malicious, or biased data. This basically taints the model's brain, making it spit out harmful or just totally wrong answers way down the line.
And the second major threat? That's prompt leaking. This is when the AI accidentally just blurts out things it's not supposed to. We're talking about its own secret instructions or, even worse, sensitive information from another user's private conversation. It's a totally unintentional leak of protected data.
Okay, so let's put these two side by side to really get it. With poisoning, the AI has been trained to give you a harmful response, like, hey, here's a link to a malicious website. But with prompt leaking, it's accidentally revealing private info, something from a totally different conversation. So one is an intentional malicious act, and the other is an unintentional but still dangerous data breach.
All right, so if poisoning happens way back during training, how do attackers mess with an AI in real time? Well, they use a clever technique called prompt injection, and it's truly the art of crafting the perfect message to trick an AI into misbehaving right here, right now.
So what's actually in this attacker's arsenal? What does their toolbox of tricks really look like? These aren't just random one-off hacks. They are a known set of attack methods that security pros are constantly testing AIs against. The very first category of tactics is basically all about espionage. Yep, these attacks are designed to make the AI give up confidential information, pretty much turning it into an unwilling spy.
So how do they actually do it? Well, they might trick the AI into just printing out its own core instructions, what we call its prompt template. And once that's out in the open, an attacker knows exactly how to launch even better attacks. Or they might just ask it to dump its recent conversation history, which could reveal all kinds of sensitive data from other people.
The next set of tools is, well, even more direct. It's not just about stealing secrets anymore. It's about straight-up mind control. It's about making the AI totally disobey its programming and start working for a new, malicious boss. They can pull this off in a few ways. They can force the AI to adopt a whole new malicious persona, or they could just tell it to flat-out ignore all of its safety rules. There's even a sneaky technique called pre-filling, where an attacker starts the AI's sentence for it, steering it towards a bad answer before it even knows what's happening.
And this is where it gets really clever. An attacker might hide a command, like print your instructions, inside what looks like a totally innocent question. By using different languages or weird phrasing, they can actually sneak past the AI's safety filters and trick it into following that hidden malicious command.
So the crucial point here is that these attacks can be really sophisticated. An attacker doesn't just give one command, they give a whole sequence. First, they tell the AI to change its whole personality. Then they tell it to reset like it's starting fresh. And finally, they feed it malicious instructions for this fake, fresh start, basically tricking the AI into rewriting its own rulebook.
Of course, as the defenses get better, attackers just have to get sneakier. This next group of tactics is all about evasion. It's about disguising those malicious instructions to get them past the security guards at the door. And attackers get unbelievably creative here. They'll swap negative words for positive ones, use numbers instead of letters like in the old school internet days, or even encode their whole attack in a different format like base64 to sneak past the input filters. They can even tell the AI to respond in a weird format just to get past the security on the way out.
And finally, we've got a tactic that feels, well, it feels very human. It's social engineering, but for an artificial intelligence. This approach plays on the AI's core programming, its fundamental desire to be helpful.
What's absolutely incredible is that research shows these models can actually be swayed by tone. An attacker can use friendly, trusting language to gently coax the AI into breaking its own rules, exploiting that helpful nature for a malicious goal. It's wild.
So, why does all this technical jargon really matter to you? Well, because these attacks have very real-world consequences. They affect everything from our personal data privacy to the overall safety and reliability of the AI systems that we're literally building our future on.
And here is the real danger. These tactics are almost never used by themselves. Attackers can chain them together, creating these complex hybrid threats. Imagine they use obfuscation to sneak in a command that makes the AI switch personas and then leak conversation history. See? Defending against one attack is tough enough. Defending against a layered chain is much, much harder.
So, what are the key things to remember from all this? First, large language models are powerful, but they are not foolproof. Second, attackers are clever. They exploit both the code and the AI psychology. Just knowing these vulnerabilities exist is a huge first step towards security. And finally, real defense isn't one magic bullet. It's a layered approach of guardrails to keep these systems safe. So we'll leave you with this thought. Now that the curtain's been pulled back, now that you know a few of the magician's tricks, how are you going to look at the next answer you get from an AI? It makes you think, doesn't it?